Hello there, this is Cookies. I've got turn 91. We do a probing, or no, an arcane analysis of Eternal Pyre. We find the overcast is 77, so a pretty decent overcast. It'll be hard for us to save the fire gems to overcast that, but I'm gonna work on it because I anticipate that he might be spending the fire gems. We'll see. Alright, so we've got Nidavellir continuing to kill off Machaka, and we're continuing to raid into Calum. These Nidavellir attacks are just him retaking stuff from Enchanted Forests. And we've essentially got a nap 1. He can end the nap whenever he feels like, because I've really thrown up some toxic globals. All right. So, yeah, pretty quiet turn in terms of raids. This looks like this Ivy King ran into a full-on army. I suppose for the sake of seeing a battle, we can watch Nidavellir buff up. Oh, he's got the Pillar of Truce. That's pretty cool. Now, this does give increased MR to all units on the battlefield, so including mine. So it is an interesting artifact. So you can see here, they got the MR boost. Yeah, a lot of the sacreds are what's left in these big armies because they do not desert. All right, then we got Divine Channeling. Let's see. The Plague continuing to go ham. We do patrol out a Monster Boar. Ah, that's who I want. All right, so I've got a couple of Coral Blades in my current turn, and now I was supposed to give it to this Shrunken Shaman, at least one of them. All right. Okay, so not too much action this turn. That wasn't just killing PD, but I mean, we're continuing to make progress here. So we've cracked Berman Highs, or Berman Highs. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and storm it. Additionally, we've got a fair amount of stuff that's going to move on to Sinextro, and maybe we can crack that. Or make some progress. We're sieging down Gelini Agora. We've got Sacreds and whatnot on the way. These are stealthed. I'm trying to decide how much I want to use the Black Centaur in a war in Underdark, because their stats are kind of trashed in the dark. So maybe they can just hang out if possible, and then if Underdark gets dispelled, we can use them to their full potential. And then we've got this army here, which is cracked Summerlands. And I think I was thinking here that rather than storming with this group, because I don't really have a defense against Firestorm in this group, I was going to go, I labeled these Storm because I'm intending to use them to storm forts and just see what I can get. Asphodel can really struggle to storm forts, but I'm hoping maybe 300 mannequins in Underdark, maybe it's a different story. We'll have to see. It kind of depends what all's in there. So, additionally, we're going to go ahead and raid what's left of this bogus province, which has been independent for ages. We're going to go ahead and try to take Mountains of Mist and try to take Terrace Peaks. And I think Nabaz staled this turn, but I mean, they're still semi-active. They don't have to be that active for Purgatory to defend them. And then, let's see. Yeah, I think that's most of this turn. In terms of foraging, we're picking up a Staff of Elemental Mastery, just in case we need it. Because when you need it, you really need it. And then a few more Axes of Hate, some Storm Spools and whatnot. Pick him an Artifact Armor, which is this one, the Septics. And we can look at that next turn. And yeah, I think that's most of this one. So let me go ahead and jump into turn 92. All right, so I've got turn 92 pulled up. We do another Arcane Analysis, and we find Purgatory is done at 110 Overcast. So we should know what our Dispel options are. Martyr's Grave is nice. I think that gives us a Dominion. And, oh, and this is Bogarus. Or not Bogarus, Bogus. Okay, so the Dark Knight jumps on us. Routes the commander. Fortunately, we had another commander. So you can see how good mannequins are against thugs that do not have Fire Shield. It's an overwhelming number of MR checks, and then they quickly get put to sleep. The MR checks being the Sleep Vine checks. So trying to overwhelm his regen, it's not easy. Does he have a buff put on him? He's Berserk. It does look like Bogus is going to make it to Twilight. See. Strength, Greenstone. I forget if the Berserk is innate, and it does look like maybe he's got some sort of bark skin effect. So I'm curious what disappears when we get to Twilight. Oh, got a couple of big crits there. Alright. So theoretically we've got Twilight now. Lost an Eye, Limp, and Mute now. Has lost the Berserker, so I believe the protection drops. Now we pick up some more crits. There we go, and secure the kill. Although, maybe Twilight wasn't completely announced, but it definitely made the Berserker go away. Alright. So we do kill a bogus and we get a fair amount of loot from him. Or helmet, storm armor, cat charm, true shot, longbow, boots of quickness, and precious. Otherwise, let's see. Seems like some pretty peaceful sailing. A little bit of resistance there in Terrace Peaks. Loses a bishop fish storming Nidian range, but otherwise is in good shape. We go ahead and clear out Berman Highs, so let's go ahead and watch this storm. Now there is a golem in here, but it's an S3 golem, not fire empowered. There is a mage core back here. We can maybe see... Okay, so this is a research park. There's not really any gems on this, so this should be pretty easy, but we will get gem baited. So rigor mortis goes up. We get howl, we get foul vapors. Looks like we interrupted this guy's buff script. Oh, he was supposed to be a comm slave. Interesting. Alright. So, clean up the golem. And there we go. Fancy new throne. We did have a few units retreat. I think those were wyverns and whatnot. They can just become part of the PD. Since I'm not going to be able to buy any PD. Let's see. And then, yeah, and so we've mitigated the effects of Purgatory here. Let's see. We lose another temple. This is an overwhelming number of temple losses. Really annoying. But otherwise, things are going pretty good. More stuff is becoming forests, which only enhances the power of enchanted forests. So you can see all the forests here in Shinyama. You can see all the forests here in Machaka. From Well of Misery, a lot of forests here in the old, I think this is Scalaria? No, this is still Machaka. I think I just went from Machaka to Machaka, but this is Nidavellir. But yeah, everything's just kind of going our way, at least for the moment. We're going to go ahead and attempt to put Moose Bowl under siege. So sending a little raiding group there. Sending a raiding group here, Scarce Hope Waste, also to Erd, continuing to raid. This raiding group's pretty depleted at this point, but maybe they can take this. And just continuing to rotate more stuff through. So we've got a few Sacreds, very small number, and some other stuff moving on to Uric Valcor. We're going to go ahead and try the cheap, lesser storming of Summerlands. See what's inside. And the Kalen Pretender, I believe, can also magic phase around. So we don't know which fort we're going to find it in, even if we storm one and it's not there. But I think somebody is getting firestormed. I just don't know who. And then we're also going to try a cheaper storming here. Although a little bit sad that I chose a company for that job rather than maybe like raiding groups, which are a little bit more expendable. I like to preserve the high MR Minotaurs that have 2 attacks. And the Satyr mannequins are also pretty good. So they've got an extra MR point. So, but yeah, we'll do what we can. I believe we're also forging the protection of Garyon, and then we're blood hunting. We've turned on blood hunting with a bunch of liches. to try and get enough to do a black cart. Because I finally noticed, even though I've had it scouted since it was cast, that Shinyama's got a Nexus gate. And it was because I was always zoomed in on this. I never went down here and looked, but this went up on turn 80, according to my prior scout coverage. And so he's been in here presumably whooshing, and whoosh in the Nexus gate, because there's an alteration discount site, lets you get 50 gems of profit per turn that you whoosh. So if he created the Nexus gate on turn 80, moved in on turn 81, and started whooshing on turn 82, he's had about 10 turns of 50 gems of profit, which is about 500 gems. And that's starting to get to the point where, especially if he cannibalized the whoosh pearls from the other alchemization, where he could potentially start thinking about dispelling enchanted forests or Underdark. So need to figure out what's going on there. And I'm going to pull a page out of my was it MA Kalem game and out of my EA Vanheim game, where I'm going to put protection from Garyon on a stealthy unit and a black heart. I'm going to send, in this case, it's going to be a harpy who's heading back to Dragon Ridge. So this harpy is going to get this stuff, and they're going to go into the Nexus gate and try to send the pretender somewhere, I guess to hell, and hopefully disrupt that whoosh factory. So, and then the other thing we're doing is sending a scout inside of the Nexus gate to see maybe if we can see golems, to know if he's scaling the whoosh or just kind of doing like a boutique whoosh farm. But yeah, should have seen it from the turn it was cast, and instead just completely miffing on looking around at the map, despite all the scouts I have. All right. But other than that, continuing to attack. Gonna try some cheaper storms. They might fail, but they also might work. So we're gonna see what we can get. It's only a few hundred mannequins. And we've still got over 10,000 mannequins, so our production is keeping pace with losses right now. You can kind of see it in the army graph a little bit. So losing a fair number of mannequins next turn, I think will be okay, or should be okay in the long run. If we lose, it'll be because of other reasons, not because we're missing 300 or 500 mannequins. And in terms of what we're, I guess, foraging, here's the protection of Garyon. And then, and then in terms of what we're casting, we've got a, so this guy was one of my panics I did a transformation on earlier and got a Hydra. And I was thinking, maybe it'd be cool if I could lich him, but he's only got 2 miscellaneous slots. So I'm trying to roll through the, I guess, the different transformations, trying to get one with other slots again. And maybe I can lich this guy. So that's the idea there. The previous Hydra chassis wasn't bad. It was, I've got a good death income, and a lich is better than a Hydra. So maybe we can try to turn it into a lich. And yeah, I think that's it for this turn. I believe also no, not this turn. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into turn 93. Okay, so now that we're in turn 93, the big announcement for turn 93 is this turn we're going to, because of the wish thing that we spotted, and because also I'm worried I might be dragging out the game a bit after putting up the globals. I know Jungleman was having fun scaling, but I'm not sure if he's still having fun scaling. I know everyone's turns are shorter because they have less stuff, except for me. But yeah, I feel like I might be dragging out the game unnecessarily, and I potentially am starting a new game as EA Atlantis. Got a couple of games I'm advising on, or maybe that I could sub into a bit. And so potentially interested in ending this one, unless there's some potential for really nice big fun battles. So we'll see. But let's go ahead and start doing what we should be doing in terms of being a participating nation trying to win the game. So getting back to it. So yeah, we've started the nap countdown with Shinyama now as well, which I believe goes in. I gave him a few options. We could fight now from Enchanted Forest and Utterdark, which he doesn't need my permission for that, but I wanted to just pick the one that he liked the best. Or I think this is turn 93, so it'd be turn 96 for attack orders landing, which was counting this turn as the first turn of notice, and then 94 and 95 is attack orders, and then they land on 96. And I also give him turn 97, which is counting the notice as next turn. Because it doesn't, I mean, if he gets a little bit more stuff out of the Wish Factory, it could be a more fun war. And he opted for turn 96, so that's the one that we'll go for attack orders landing. And there's a little bit more stuff in here than I thought there would be, so I think we're gonna struggle. What I should have done was put like hold and attack. We do have some wyverns jump in the back. But Ice Strike is phenomenally effective against mannequins. It was Ice Strike being a spell that I, at least personally from my point of view, I tested its effectiveness against mannequins with Demosthenes, and it was really good. So we put that on our docket as of potential things we could cast, because it just deletes whole squares of mannequins. It's very effective. So we get deleted by that. So we lose a couple of raiding groups, including a carrion commander, which is sad. We do kill a high seraph, but otherwise we don't really do much. So we're going to need a heavier force to take Sinextro. For Summerlands, when we get in here, there's also a fair number of mages in here, and Iceclad, and these gelatinous cubes. Got Divine Channeling. There is a Flame Spirit in here, which can do Firestorm. So that might need to be something that we take into account. Yeah, between Divine Channeling, Banishment, and the Falling Fires, we get wrecked in Summerlands pretty easily. Don't really kill much. And then we've got a battle in World's Teeth Mountains. Oh, this is Nidavinger. So there's Pillar of Truce again. He's just going to kill this stuff. I don't think we need to watch this. Oh, I guess there was a Queen of Thunder, but the Machaka player hasn't been playing, so there's probably no gems on it or anything. And yeah, I think that's it. Let's see. We've got a Sage. Oh, our Sage gets cursed. Kill some Barbarians. Kill a False Prophet. And yeah, I think we're in good shape here. Let's go ahead and go to the map. For some reason, I set this person to claim, and I think I meant to set them to reanimate. I did not want to claim this throne yet. It's the Throne of Chains. I don't want to be a Misfortune 3. I've already lost enough fucking temples. So that's definitely a mistake. But I guess we're gonna have to deal with it because I'm not gonna catch it. Um, let's see. So here we see the Flame Spirit. And in Sinextro, there's a bunch of stuff here. Let's see, there's some potential for... Yeah, so a Fire Random Seraphim can do Firestorm in a Communion. Let's see. But I don't see any Fire Gems handed out. It doesn't look like he got one of the randoms in here, so I think we're okay to storm this. What we're gonna have to do, I mean, he could potentially maybe do some sort of Arcane Corruption or Astral Domination. Could also put a piece of Communion Gear on the Seraphim and do Firestorm that way. It would kill his own stuff, but it would also kill my stuff. Which might be worth it. And then, let's see, we also put Mooseful under siege and kill the barbarians that wanted to attack it. And then Jelenia Gora, we also ran into some mages. So far, just the Flame Spirit that we want to keep an eye on. And it can't magic phase. Unless it's given like Boots of Teleport or something. But I think that would still count as... No, it gives you the teleport spell. Yeah, I'm not seeing a Firestorm caster here either. So maybe in Calum or maybe in Mooseful. But yeah, we're gonna keep shuffling troops forward and trying to siege down and take these forts. So we're going to rotate the proper army onto Sinextro. We're building a little bit of an army here. So we've got some Sacreds. Zan's showing up with some MR gear. And he's currently got a Winds of Death script, but I think I'm going to change it to a Rigor Mortis script. But if we end up fighting outside, this guy won't be in the battle. The Black Centaur won't be, I don't think, so we can safely just Winds of Death. We might kill one or two of these Hierophants, but that's fine. It would suck, but it's fine. I can't really replace them. And yeah, I mean, we're forging the Blackheart. We did get, I guess, claiming this. Maybe that was intentional. I forget. But claiming it did guarantee that I got enough blood slaves to forge that black heart. So maybe that was it. Because I don't think I found any blood hunting. No, I did. I found 4. I just happened to find 4. So it was a mistake. Alright, just like I thought. Alright, in terms of the battles, yeah, I think we looked at all of these. Okay. In terms of foraging, this is what we're foraging. Trying to get a few more mass of face borrowing without impacting too much of future Dreams of the Awakening Godcast. And we've got Turritarian Gate, Transformation, Carrion Lord. So I think that's it for this turn. We're at 29 minutes, but the next turn is my current turn, so I'm gonna go ahead and go a little bit long with this one. So give me 1 second. All right, so got it. Here's my current turn. We do go ahead and pick up a Carrion Lord, cast Transformation. Then we've got a fair number of battles. Caitlin pings at me, which is a little bit concerning. And then we go ahead and kill a couple of illusionists. Nabaz golems come to life again and move around and retake a couple of his provinces. Some draconians raid or retake his capital. But otherwise, somewhat quiet. We do storm here. This is Summerlands. So this is the Flame Spirit. It does have the gems for Firestorm. So I am concerned. I think it might need, I forget if Firestorm is Fire 4 to cast it with an extra gem, or if it's Fire 3. And if it's base level Fire 5, we can take a look right after this. But I do have some Carrion Furies in this army. I've got Carrion Ogres. This is meant to be a sieging force that takes. And then we've got a whole bunch of these Sagittarian carcasses. So let's go ahead and see what this guy casts. Alright, so it's Hails of Burning Embers, which is not what I thought. And he's not even going to get that off because it got interrupted. We do get Army of Mist coming out. That's not a huge concern for Asphodel. We have magic weapon, sleep vines. Looks like they jumped on one of the little squads in the back. We do put up Foul Vapors. He puts up Divine Channeling. And then this guy's going to go ahead and do a Fire Elemental. So did not have the repeat cast for Hail of Burning Embers, which I think gives archers the fire damage bonus. I think that's the army-wide fire arrows. Our big issue here is getting through the gate, however. But, I mean, that's classic Asphodel, really struggling to get through gates, and then we're also trying to kill these area infantry in the back. We have done Awakened Forests, so that's why we've got all these animated trees running around for us. And they're 130 HP. So a lot of these troops are tied down with the Sagittarian Carcass's Vine Arrow effect. So not great movement, but the Fire Elemental is gonna hurt. The Carrion Furies, however, do have 5 fire resistance and Righteous Wrath, because I guess one of them died. So they've got the kind of magic attacks that will kill a Fire Elemental and clear the gate. I guess this guy was on Advance and Cast as well. I can't click on him. Let's see. Here we go. What else did he end up doing? Oh, I guess that was it. Alright. And as some stuff dies back here, we get some conversions. I guess birds turn into Carrion Ogres, which makes them a prime Asphodel target in my mind for the future. Yeah, they do turn into Carrion Ogres. which is a fantastic transition for Asphodel. Okay. So we gain 5 carrion ogres, but otherwise we do lose about half the army. We lose 2 carrion furies, but they get some really big kills for us to get through the gate. We do get a little bit of loot. We get a water bracelet. Don't lose any commanders, which is good. And we clear out a flame spirit, which is excellent. And a bunch of Calem's mages. So, let's see. Then Land of Plenty. There's a few more Enchanted Forest attacks. And we patrol out a number of false prophets and scouts and whatnot. Okay. So we've officially conquered pretty much all of Calem's land, which is good. All we have to do is liquidate the forts, ideally before our nap finishes counting down with Shinyama, and then we can roll right into our next war. To do that, we're going to have to storm Sinextro, which we're planning to storm this turn. So, and we've got a few Carrion Furies. Maybe these would be, or not Carrion Furies. These would be good, though, in the front. Maybe these Carrion Behemoths can charge on in and help route stuff. Okay. We're not ready to storm Calem yet, but it is cracked. What we could do, though, actually, is we could ping it. You pinged us last turn. Let's go ahead and ping it on our end. See what's inside. While we wait, though, we're taking a sort of battle deployment stance like he's gonna sally. We've got mannequins, Sagittarian carcasses, satyr mannequins, carrion horse, carrion boars. Loam stuff out in front again. We've got carrion furies in the back, kind of like center, and then we've got satyr mannequins. So we'll see what we end up fighting here. And then for your Rick Balcor, we went ahead and we cracked it, but this army is going to move on to Moosepole. And the army here that stormed Summerlands, which has been restored a little bit. It's up to 600 now. But we've got some additional chaff coming in, and I think we're going to storm Uric Balcor with the Summerlands army. Got a little bit better mage support. And we'll try to crack Moosepole and see what's inside. Otherwise, and then also, we cast our first Tartarian. And he came out as a mage commander, just right off the bat. No necromancer needed, no afflictions. And so we've geared pancakes here. Because hopefully can turn this golem into some pancakes with the Axe of Hate and the Star of Darkness. Given some MR gear and storm armor and whatnot. And we're going to Cloud Trapeze on this golem. And then for the escape plan, we've got this Harpy who's going to roll on in with a Mask of Face Borrowing. And if we happen to be successful in killing this golem, then we can stealth the Tartarian away. And we're going to go ahead and get our next Tartarian. The Tartarians that I can no longer heal afflictions for because I was dumb and turned my necromancer into a lich. So he lost the corpse stitcher tag. But otherwise, I mean, we're still in pretty good shape. So we're going to go ahead and keep pushing. And let's see. I think next turn we can put in attack orders against Shinyama. So I would like to have, especially Jeleni Agora, this siege done, ideally. I can show you the script for Zan here. So Misform, Rigor Mortis, and Plague. So we've pulled away the Black Centaur, and so everyone here is undead. We should be fine with Plague, and we're going to go ahead and try to lash out at the garrison with that, and between that, because we don't have Fell Vapors for this army, so we need something that can kill stuff in the gate, or mages in the back, whatever it wants to do. And then Rigor Mortis, hopefully to help put mages asleep, and then we can roll on through. And our stockpile is kind of huge at the moment. We are moving out a lot of stuff this turn. I think we're moving out 8 new groups, so something like that. So maybe another like 800 new troops heading to the front lines in different locations. And yeah, in terms of the army graph, you can see we're taking some attrition in this stuff, but we're still trending in the right direction. All right. But we've got a huge lead over our opponents in terms of numbers, so we're kind of putting that to use. And yeah, oh, I guess in terms of forging, this is what we're forging this turn. A couple of mass face borrowing, and in terms of what we're casting, we are getting another Carrion Lord. Really need as many mages as I can to field all these different armies. And we're trying to save fire gems, so I don't want to do Rings of False Prophet right now, because I'm thinking about maybe trying to overcast Eternal Pyre. And then if he's been spending his fire gems, then that will let us dominate Purgatory. We can dispel that and maybe try to sneak in Dreams of the Awakening God. Alternatively, we could wait a little bit and just cast Dreams. I was thinking about casting Dreams this turn, because I think it would overcast, like just straight casting it, I think it would overcast everything except Purgatory, or no, actually I think it would overcast Purgatory too. Everything except Enchanted Forest and Underdark. So we'd have a 66% chance of it going up. But I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to keep Dreams in my back pocket, and if there's a big dispel attempt, that can be one of the things that I put up instead. So I can just turn around and immediately put up another Cancer Global. And I'm also saving some water gems, because something that would potentially go well with that is Vengeful Waters, depending on if it's like a multi-dispel, Astral Disruption. And then I've also got 100 Earth Gems, which I should probably do something with. But I'm also saving gems in case I need to alchemize to try and dispel stuff. There's also some benefits. Naba's not a very big front for me, so if Naba's controlling Eternal Pyre and Purgatory, then the worst that I'm really going to get, or the worst that I'm really going to get, is probably Flames from the Sky attacks, which are annoying, and maybe I can do something about it then, but right now it's not. Naba controlling these 2 global slots isn't really hurting me. And if Naba has Purgatory, that means nobody else has Purgatory at the moment, so maybe I can make some additional gains elsewhere. And yeah, I think those are my thoughts so far. It also lets me just save up more straight pearls, because if I could do one of these dispels with just pearls without alchemizing, that would be really nice. So we're thinking about it from that point of view too. And we're at 45 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one off. But yeah, hopefully our sieges go well, and we can finish closing out this Calum War, maybe even on the back burner a little bit, and look to our new war with Shinyama soon. And what I'm really looking forward to at some point, and I don't think I'm going to get it versus Shinyama, but I'd like a big sacred on sacred battle. Ideally, I think with Nidavellir, where I can show off my unholy weapons bless a little bit. Because, yeah, I've got this incarnate unholy weapons, but I haven't really had a chance to use it yet, except against End, but that End kind of staled, so it was a little bit of a massacre. Well, he staled the important turn. So I need to... Yeah, I'd like to get a nice big battle. So even if I'm about to win the game, I think I'd like to put together a show battle with Nidavellir, if possible, and then kind of line up all the sacreds and let them fight each other and see what can happen, because I think that would be a lot of fun. All right, so I think that's it for this one. I mean, there's still some chance that they can turn this around on me. If they dispel Utterdark, and then I'm at war with 3 people, and then maybe Nidavellir declares on me, then I'd be at war with everyone, and they'd all have income again, and they could start recruiting mages again. So I need to make a lot of hay while I can with Utterdark. So essentially knocking Calum out is one first step, and then I could, if I can really weaken Shinyama maybe, and then if I get to a point where maybe I'm just fighting Naba and Nidavellir, that should be more doable if that stuff gets dispelled. So we'll see. In terms of getting closer to winning the game too, we've got 4 thrones, so we need 3 more. So this is 1. And then I suppose I'd have to be looking at these 2 thrones from Shenu. So, I mean, we're close. So, but yeah, I need to stop yapping. So I'll go ahead and end it there, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one. Bye.